Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be going over the all-new Mercedes-Benz GLS 450. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this GLS. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 375 horsepower and then 369 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, I love the body lines. They kind of have a softer finish to them. They look really sharp. Now coming down below, we've got really cool looking daytime running lights. You do have some parking sensor action down below, and then look at this trim, how it's kind of darker. And then we have this new style of grille, which I think looks really good. Here's a quick look at the previous version. Gotta walk a few steps. There you go. That's a 23, so you guys can kind of compare the grills. Anyways, putting it all together, let me know your thoughts on the front end of the new GLS. Coming on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 285 45 22 in the front and 325 40 22 in the rear. And you can see with the wheel design, you got the silver on the top, and then also there's black in the center. And then we do have a silver brake caliper as well to match the overall theme. Really nice looking body painted fender flares, and I love the metallic white paint as well. Mirror caps are blacked out, so is the window trim. And you guys can see the silver there on top of the door handles. And then we got the fixed running boards and then more fender flare action in the back. And then here's your full side view with the GLS. This is where you can kind of get a sense of the scale. It is a larger sized SUV. Now taking a look at the key fob, we have our lock function, our unlock function, and then the opening here for the hatch. And yeah, nothing there in the back, so we'll pop it open. Now the GLS is a 3-row crossover, and we do have some storage space behind that 3rd row. You guys can see we've got a cargo cover as well. And then here are the controls to automatically fold down the seats. That's for the 2nd row. You can also raise them up. And then this is for the 3rd row. And then you can also raise and lower the suspension in the back to make it so accessing this cargo area is a little bit easier. And when you're all done, just press this button and that will lower everything down. So here's a quick look at the tail lights on the GLS. Then you guys can see all the badges back here. And then look at the covers over the exhaust tips and then the parking sensors at the bottom. It looks pretty nice. Putting it all together, let me know your thoughts on the looks here of the new GLS. Now taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see soft touch here at the top. And look at the stitching that goes across. Heated seat control here, and then you got all of our adjustments, speaker for the Burmester sound system, and then look at the trim down below. I mean, all of this looks really nice. Now taking a look at the seat here, you guys can see it's got like the cowhide texture here on the side and then also in the center as well, but it's a little bit less aggressive, but it looks cool. Now legroom here in the 2nd row is really good, and again I got the adjustments to make it so it's more or less. Anyways, we've got a little storage pocket here. I like this trim on the back of the seat, which is nice. Some vent action, more here in the center, and that's kind of interesting with the cup holder design. Anyways, we do have our own climate zone here in the back as well, and I will say these seats are very comfortable. And then last but not least, headroom's good. Now space here in the 3rd row is pretty typical of a crossover in this segment. And then we actually have some nice leather trim here in the back with like stitching and everything, and some USB action as well. So I think they did a good job with that. And then headroom back here, it's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see, again, soft touch here at the top and the brown leather down below. All of our window controls here, we've got our mirror adjustments. They do power fold in. Memory seat function, all of our seat adjustments. We got heated and cooled seat as well. And you can also adjust the passenger side. Another speaker for the Burmester sound system, and then blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here's the front seat. Again, as you can see, we've got the perforated leather in the center, but then notice with the texture there on the side, which is really cool. Look how nice these pedals are. Light controls right here, and then again, I love this trim. That's pretty cool. And then obviously soft touch at the dash. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see golf ball texture here on the side and smoother at the bottom and at the top. Overall, really cool looking steering wheel with really nice paddle shifters there on the back. And we got some controls here for the infotainment screen. You got your volume voice command controls, adaptive cruise control, and then controls there for the center stack. And speaking of said center stack, you've got a bunch of different menus you can scroll through here in the center, and you can also change what this shows, so there's different designs as well. Now this being an S-Class, obviously I think that this is the design that makes the most sense, the classic design, but yeah, really customizable. And then in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. You got that bird's eye view as well, and we can actually go through different viewpoints with this camera system. as well, which is really cool. So great 360 system. And if we put it back into park and pop the rest of the infotainment system, first off, again, you can control this with the steering wheel. You also have this keypad down below. But with the system itself, if you just use the touchscreen, it's extremely responsive. And since this is, of course, the S-Class of SUVs, we do have stuff like massaging seats. Soft touch here on the dash with a bunch of stitching, and then love the trim that goes across. And notice how the passenger has a bunch of adjustments, heated, cooled seats, all of that as well. And then you got the vents here in the center that are all blasting AC because it's hot today. Dual zone climate controls, and then we can pull this back. It's pretty cool. You got like a little tab to pull it that way. Anyways, wireless phone charging pad, heated and cooled cup holders, which is kind of a fun little feature right there. And then you guys can see here, we've got our little keypad. I love this on the top. And then that's for the suspension to adjust it. Got our grab handles with ambient lighting. And then, yeah, good storage space inside. And then up top, we got our control here for the full panoramic sunroof and then a leather colored headliner. So here's our window sticker for this GLS 450. You guys can see all the standard equipment. Base MSRP $87,000. This one does have a few options added to it. After all options, it stickers for $106,820. And I love how they say $197 on there, like advertising. Hey, this is for business owners. Big tax write-off. Anyways, let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and hope you can now see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, do a blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And I've been driving so many cars with the shifters in the center, I forgot Mercedes-Benz column shifter life. A little bit of a different setup here, but I will say these seats have so much adjustment. Now I'm widening the bolsters here because they were a little bit tight for me. You guys can see they're like full on, like as tight as they could get. And oh yeah, now that they're looser, that's definitely a bit more comfortable for me. But anyways, setting off in the GLS. This looks like it's more of a refresh rather than a full-on redesign, just to kind of update some elements here with the GLS, bring it up to par with the rest of the Mercedes-Benz product, which is completely fine because the GLS itself is really solid as it stands. So first off, seat comfort in normal Mercedes-Benz fashion is really good, and on top of having really comfortable seats, the ride's really good too. The damping is great. That's one of the things that Mercedes is always so good with, is just the damping with all of their vehicles. And this inline six, you know, although you might think it's too small for an SUV like this, it's got some oomph to it. I mean, it moves this GLS quite well. And overall ride quality, that's so good. And this really is the S-Class of SUVs. Now I will say it's not, and I think the price point, I think the pricing reflects this. This isn't as comfortable as the S-Class sedan, but also, you know, it's quite a bit less expensive. I mean, an S500, which would have an inline six just like this, I mean, you're looking at rather like $130,000 now, I think. So this is like 30 grand roughly cheaper, or less expensive rather than an S-Class sedan. So there is a little bit of a difference there. Now I didn't go to the drive modes in the walk around because I'm a casual, but you guys can see we've got individual, sport, comfort, eco, off-road. You got modes for all sorts of conditions. We're in the sport mode right now so that we can get a solid acceleration here. That inline six has some torque. Like it moves, that is for sure. I don't think there's any other modes besides, yeah, it looks like that's about it. We'll keep it into sport mode here. Please correct tire pressure. Weird, the tires are all this, like pretty much the same pressure. It's probably because of the drive modes I changed. But anyways, some things up here with the GLS. I guess we'll get one more acceleration and then we'll kind of sum it up. I think this thing looks great on the outside. I do like the new refreshed grille. Okay, so summing things up here with the GLS. I like the new grille. I think it looks good. I think they did a great job with that. I love this interior. I think it's very well, you know, it's got Mercedes-Benz great fit and finish. I love the two-tone design. I think that's fantastic. And I think it drives really well. It's very comfortable, it's quiet. Again, it really is the S-Class of SUVs. Again, it's not quite as comfortable as the actual S-Class, but like I said, it's not as much money. So if you're looking for a very comfortable family SUV that also qualifies for Section 179, the Mercedes-Benz GLS accomplishes that, and this refresh obviously kind of brings it in line with the other product from Mercedes-Benz that they have recently updated.